Friends, today we are going to continue our work with contractions. Remember, a contraction is a short form of two words. An apostrophe takes the place of the missing letter or letters when the two words are joined. So that means you're taking two words and combining them into one word using an apostrophe for the missing letters. So here, in these sentences, there is a contraction in each sentence, but they forgot to use a apostrophe. So you will have to find the contraction and think about where the apostrophe should be. So number one says, walking through the snow isn't easy. So my contraction in that sentence is isn't. So I need to make sure it has a apostrophe, and that apostrophe will go after the N before the T, because isn't is made of the word is not, which means if this is my two words, that means I've taken away the O, and now I'm replacing that O with an apostrophe instead to make it one word. Number two says, there's a big storm coming. My contraction is theirs. So I write my word, making sure I have an apostrophe before the S, because theirs is a contraction for there is. So I've taken away the I and replaced that with an apostrophe. So I'm going to read the rest of these sentences, and you will need to underline the contraction in the sentence and make sure you add in the apostrophe that was forgotten. Number three says, we couldn't see across the street during the last storm. So make sure you pause the video before going on so that you can kind of work along with me, making sure you pick out that contraction and add in the apostrophe. Number four says, Mom wouldn't let us go out in the storm. Number five says, she'd tell us to wait until the storm ended. Remember, this one's a little tricky. The word that I have here could be shed, right? Because that's a word, the word shed. Shed tell us to wait until the storm ended? So that does not make sense. So this is my contraction of she'd. She would. Number six, I haven't seen a storm like that for many years. Number seven, we don't want another one to come. And number eight, we aren't ready for such cold weather. Kind of a good line of sentences for all the snow that we've been having, kind of relates to our lives a lot. On the other side, it's asking you to underline the two words in each sentence that could be used to form a contraction. So each sentence will have two words in it that I could put together to make a contraction. So I'm going to start by following those first directions. I'm only going to read through the sentences and underline the two words in each sentence that could be used to form a contraction. It is not hard to find amazing things in nature. If I look at my words, I know it is could make a contraction. It would make the contraction it. Number two, I have not found the fallen tree yet. So if I look, I have my words have not could be used to make a contraction. I could make the contraction haven't. Number three, we cannot wait for him to take us on a walk. So again, I have cannot, could become can't. I would not take the path because of the mud. So I have would not, could become wouldn't. She would get muddy feet on the path. She would could become she'd. Number six, he could not clean his boots. That could not. So the last two, I'm going to have you guys try to find the contraction or the two words that could become a contraction on your own. There is a better path than that. Number eight says, we are not in a hurry. The bottom part here says, write the contractions from above on the lines below. So you won't write them up here like I did for an example. You'll put them on the lines. So I know it is becomes It's. I know have not becomes haven't. I'll look at number 3. I know cannot becomes can't. So all of those words I underlined, I'm going to write them in the contraction below on these lines. So I will need a word on each line for every 2 words that I underlined that I will be putting into a contraction. Once you're done, double check your work, make sure you have filled in all the blanks and you have followed all the directions before you turn it in.